Well, hello everybody. I have a very, very dirty, sick, perverted news to share with all of you. I'm going to give it that minute to let people log on. It's incredible, the timing of today, the ICC, and everything that's come out of the UK that I have, including 1941's Winston Churchill letter, going through absolutely with the World War II allies, everything that completes everything, I say, going into King George VI. Everybody, this is huge, and it's not little. You can go on my timeline. I am going to print the email copy, and the woman who took over, who's got strong ties to the Lieutenant Governor of Alberta. The three top universities in Canada opened a patriation paper for all academics. I entered it. I was approved. I did it in the time frame. We have to submit the full papers, of course, in 2022, a little over a year from today. I was already approved. It was already well received. The organization of those three universities, the woman running it, gone, replaced by none other than a great friend of Alberta's Lieutenant Governor. My paper, they say, is being revoked. They've had too many submissions. They're canceling mine. Which, so everybody knows, my paper passed. It was presented to all of you. It was received. I did it in the time frame. There was no rule on that. The vote goes in on the completed paper in 2022. I had crossed my T's, dotted my I's, presented exactly the numeric value that had to be done on that paper. And it's in the title here. It's the patriation of the 1982 Constitution of Canada, and of my paper, which was the title of what they wanted to hear about, and how I go into the colonial genocide being committed from 1952, as it really is, the true history, absolutely, with all kinds of documentation no Canadians ever seen, including Winston Churchill's 1941 works completed by the UNSC as UNSC UK Prime Minister of the UK, and of course King George's reign. And that will never be seen by the academic community in Canada. But I promise all of you, it will be seen by the ICC, it will be seen by the P5 and many other countries, but not in Canada. Everybody, not in Canada. Because why? Because the Crown colonial powers of your government have decided that no, Canadians and First Nations must never see it. They must never see your paper or your works. Even though I can do the same submission in the great University of Oxford in United Kingdom, and they will at least receive it, review it, and put it through the entire academic community for vote. But that won't happen in Canada. Not one academic is to read it, to see it, and it was done none other than by Alberta's Lieutenant Governor override. There is your Crown power. I have the email. They try to give it a nice way that, oh, sorry, so many submissions. Sorry is bullshit. It was passed and received and gone through the process more than 3 weeks ago. Done, signed, sealed, certified, in the pile. The closing date was done. And now, today of all days, it gets thrown away because I am not to be read aloud to any Canadians or Indigenous. With absolute verifiable facts, just like my Oxford paper, with all the credible links attached, including Winston Churchill's letter and correspondence of the UNSC in 1941, articulating the build of the UN Charter of 1945, his submission that was taken. That's it, everybody. Share. It's huge. It's disgusting. It just shows how very, very awful and ugly your Canadian government really is. There's not much more else to say. What is the government truly afraid of? The truth? The truth that you've stolen a crown power, that Liberals, Conservative, and all elected officials since have been running on a colonial system outlawed worldwide. Doesn't matter what they do to try and dumb down Canadians and First Nations. Doesn't matter how much they suppress, how many elections they steal, or how I will likely, even if I came in a majority in the federal, I won't be allowed in any debates. Just like Alberta, the same gross, disgusting perversion called Canada. That's what we are. It's a disgusting, filthy country that can't even allow a third-class citizen. Mind over matter doesn't matter. The rest of the world knows, but no Canadians to ever know. What kind of system do we truly live in here? They holler at China over the Uyghur Muslims, yet they've genocided and oppressed the First Nations people for hundreds of years, more than 150 as the Canadian government. And they still do it right now today. And they try to tell all of you this is normal. It's normal that your country, only 1/5 shared between two peoples, split unevenly, but 40 million people, you're never to have any more than that. We're twice as bad as China. We're a human rights violator like nowhere else in the world today. African nations are under the gun over it. And now it's Canada's turn. That's reality. And they can paint whatever. They can doctor the media. They can lie to all of you. But this is the truth. And I have Sir Winston Churchill, Prime Minister of the UK at the time. I have his 1941 correspondence with the UNSC outlining the build of the Charter, ending the Crown. Absolutely. And King George VI, in full consent and in full works, doing that all over the world at the time. And he died during Canada's transition. New Zealand, Australia, never got it done. That's the awful truth here. And the world's going to continue, and your filthy politicians will continue, and only a select few of you will ever know, or whatever social media. If there's ever a video to share, this is the one. You can go back in my timeline. I can show you the email where I was approved. Who is in charge? They're no longer in charge anymore. Those 3 universities are to never read my paper or to ever see me come to light in any real sense, because it's the truth. And Canada can't accept the truth. I will likely never, even if I present a federal majority, I wouldn't even be allowed in the debates, no matter how much bigger, stronger I am than other parties, how well the platform's received. The Canadian public, the First Nations people, are to never know of these things, because that is the autocracy of Canada. Much, much very worse than Russia, much, much very worse than China itself. That's reality. Now they can poke and the media can share what the government tells them to share and show in their narratives, but they will never turn the lens back on Canada, who is worst of the worst. And we're being misled, all of us, that somehow Canada's a great nation. Watch your currency. Watch your currency coming as USA exits out of COVID and we remain. You just watch. It's sad. It's truly sad. How could I be approved, finish, complete the task assigned, and then turn around and the Governor General, Lieutenant Governor comes in and I get scrapped, and a new overseer of those universities comes in attached to Lieutenant Governor to tell me that, well, you made everything and everything's good, too many submissions, you're gone. It's a load of shit. It's a lie, and it's to keep the Canadian public dumb, ignorant, no matter what comes of ICC. What comes, we're going to see in Superior Court. No matter what comes, they're going to keep you ignorant through media, through all channels, and suppress, and censor. That's what they do. It's sick and it's pathetic. Bye now.